As a kid, I was so impatient, and I just wanted to beat the game as fast as possible. I would get so frustrated when I couldn't one-hit the enemy's Pokemon. Lapras on Lorelei's team was always one of these Pokemon. It would take several hits to knock out, and I'd end up just wanting to throw my Game Boy across the room. So now it's my turn to use this cool turtle sea monster thing to play through Pokemon Yellow. In Generation 1, Lapras has incredible stats, a diverse move pool, and great typing. I'd guess my moveset will end up being Rest, Thunderbolt, Surf, and Blizzard. Also, thanks to everyone in the comments on my Tentacool video, I know now that Blizzard has 90% accuracy in Generation 1, so I'll use it instead of Ice Beam once I pick it up in Pokemon Mansion. But please keep telling me about Blizzard in my previous videos though, it helps with the YouTube algorithm. Also, if you're enjoying my content, subscribe, click the bell for notifications, and share this video with a friend. These things really help my channel grow. Additionally, if you're looking to directly support me with monies, consider becoming a Patreon. There are 3 of them now. It's like collecting Pokemon cards. Now I have Bulbasaur, Ivysaur, and Venusaur. Maybe one day I'll have all 151. Let's quickly go through the rules for this challenge. I'll only use Lapras in battle. I won't use any items in battle. I won't use any sleep tactics due to how broken they are in Generation 1. Finally, I won't use any glitches. However, the badge boost glitch will be permitted. Now, let's get into it. In Pokemon Yellow, the rival evolves his Eevee depending on the results of the first 2 fights. Jolteon is typically his strongest final stage Pokemon due to its moveset and stats. In this case, it's also super effective against Lapras. To make him pick Jolteon, I have to defeat him at both the lab and the optional fight west of Viridian City. The lab fight is easy, and I figure since Lapras is such a great Pokemon that I don't need to level up too much in order to beat him at the second location. Here there are some seriously annoying sand attack tactics after you take the Spearow out. Eevee knows Tackle, Growl, and Sand Attack for this fight, but it seems to have a higher probability of using, of course, the most frustrating of these moves. Because Spearow has lowered my defense with its Leers, when Eevee uses Tackle, it does decent damage. However, Lapras has fantastic stats as I mentioned before, and I end up getting through this fight on my first attempt. I run through Viridian Forest, skipping all the optional trainers as I don't need to train up before Brock. He opens with Geodude, and it's a simple one-hit. Next is Onix, and it goes down in a single hit as well. You could beat him at a lower level I think, but I really just wanted to do the second rival fight. After all, Lapras is a great Pokemon, and I do want to make this run as hard as possible for myself. Mount Moon usually offers at least one useful TM, but in this case, Lapras doesn't need any of them. I grab the rare candy and make my way down towards the fossils as fast as possible. After defeating the Super Nerd, I grab the... Did you think I was gonna say Helix Fossil? Nope, Dome Fossil all the way. Time to be an absolute rebel. Feel free to tell me why this is clearly the wrong choice in the comments. Unfortunately, during the previous fight, Lapras was poisoned. This makes the fight against Team Rocket a little bit sketchy. I make it through it with low health and heal up using potions. Then I make a run for Cerulean, hoping that Lapras will have enough HP to survive the poison damage. So many times as a kid, I almost made it to the next town, and my last Pokemon would faint, respawning me before the entire cave. Another moment when small Scott would contemplate throwing his Game Boy across the room. However, I'd usually be playing in the bathroom because my parents only wanted me to play on weekends. I was a strangely obsessive kid. So in this situation, if I threw the Game Boy across the room, my cover would be blown. So I'd calm down and I'd walk all the way back through the cave and continue to play until my parents started to ask if I was okay. Yes, Mom, I'm okay, I'm just taking a poop. Next, I pick up the hidden rare candy and then I battle the rival. Because I've skipped a lot of trainers, my level isn't as high as it could be. Spearow puts out a good amount of damage over the first 2 turns before it faints. Sandshrew is up next, and I'm reminded of how relaxing this fight is when I have a water-type Pokemon. Goodbye, little sand-attacking devil. Rattata lands 2 attacks before fainting. At this point, I know I can't knock the Eevee out in a single turn, and it also knows Sand Attack. Perhaps I should have waited before saying this fight is relaxing. Luckily, Eevee lands a bunch of stat-lowering moves and gives me time to whittle it down and take it out. Next, I grab Charmander. I nickname him HM. That's all he's useful for. I grab the hidden elixir and then face the last. She's always scary if you have Pokemon that are weak to grass. Oh no, I didn't heal. I really should have done that. I get through the first Oddish retaining a decent amount of health. Pidgey is next. It's a surprising one hit. The last Oddish comes out. This one is close. Watching its health, I'm slowly taking it down. After a few turns, I realize that I am gonna knock it out. I just need to avoid critical hits. Okay, I did it. Misty is next. Her AI will prioritize normal moves against me, since her water-type moves are not very effective. This means that she'll likely spam Harden, X-Defend, and Tackle. Lapras has great defense, so I'm not worried about this fight at all. It's a grind because my only damage-dealing move is Water Gun, and it is not very effective. I was surprised while playing this fight just how many critical hits occurred. After the fight, Misty hands out the TM for Bubblebeam as a prize. I'm working on planning my movesets better before doing the challenges, so I'm going to teach this move to Lapras right away, as I know I won't need it later on. I grab the bike voucher in Vermilion City, and then I pick up Body Slam on the SS Anne. I don't teach it to Lapras right away, since I learn it through level up very soon. This gives me more flexibility with my moveset for later in the run. Next, I grab Rest and the rare candy, and then I take on the rival. This fight is pretty easy. After that's done, Charmander learns Cut, and I take on the awful trash can puzzle. So there's a guide for this thing, but I didn't look at it before I did this. I just brute forced it down again. Surge is next, and I'm pretty scared for this one. He opens with Growl, lowering my attack, which is actually going to reduce my damage since I've got to use Body Slam against him. My first hit does just over 1/4 damage. Next, Raichu lands Mega Punch, and Lapras tanks it really well. Good job, you majestic sea monster turtle thingy. My Body Slam paralyzes Raichu. I outspeed due to paralysis, and then the electric mouse lands a Thunderbolt. Oh my gosh, I lived. After that, I outspeeded again, and I knocked the Raichu out for good. This is a first fight for Surge, 3 levels lower with a type disadvantage. Obviously, it could have gone terribly if he had only used Thunderbolt. Either way, I'm happy with these results. Good job, Lapras. Before entering Rock Tunnel, I stock up on potions, repels, and escape ropes. These are all useful items in the long run, and they help prevent lost time. Also, last run with Sandshrew, I did buy escape ropes, and I totally didn't need them. Sandshrew can just use Dig. Dig is basically a permanent escape rope. Whoops. The hiker in the tunnel is easy, because I have water-type moves, and even the lass isn't an issue. In Celadon, I do my regular errands in a somewhat erratic order. I was tired and recording late at night. I do want to note here that I pick up the TM for Ice Beam, which is going to be my go-to stab move until I get Blizzard in Pokemon Mansion. Some of you have commented in the past that I should get 2 copies of these TMs, but that isn't possible. The girl will only give you 1. After I set a waypoint for Saffron, I forget to grab Psychic, and then I head over to the Rocket Hideout. I remember getting stuck at this portion of the game as a kid. I had to ask all my friends at school what to do. They gave me a hint that I needed to talk to the man in front of a poster. I really miss those days, when the game didn't handhold you, and it really forced you to explore. In addition, it was so nice when the internet didn't exist. It's such a tempting easy mode option. I always find myself just Googling things that could be solved with 5 seconds of thinking, or some trial and error. Ah, the good old days. I teach Ice Beam to Lapras, and I'm ready for the Giovanni and Erica fight. Funny enough, because of the sequence of events, I use Ice Beam against Onix. Yes, I know that ice moves are not super effective against rock Pokemon, so it's only 2 times effective against Onix. I correct my move selection against Rhyhorn and switch to the 4 times effective Bubblebeam. Funny enough, if you actually do the math here, Ice Beam is better just because it has such high base power. There are 2 good options against Erica, Ice Beam and Psychic. Of the 2, Ice Beam is the better choice. It's super effective against all of her Pokemon, including the Monograss Tangela, and it gets Stab. This fight turns out to be really annoying. I just barely don't KO all of her Pokemon. They hang on with a small amount of health and she heals each of them. This just makes it annoying and take more time. It's still a really easy fight. After finishing Erica off, I fly to Saffron to pick up Psychic that I forgot earlier. Then I get a chance to use my incredible moveset against the rival in Pokemon Tower. This amount of coverage makes this game so easy. I have a move that is super effective against all of his Pokemon, with the exception of Eevee, which really isn't a threat at this level anyways. Now I want to take a brief moment to talk about game design. These days, Pokemon games handhold you through every interaction. There is only ever one path to take, and once reaching your destination, a cutscene will stop the flow of the game and guide you to the next objective. Exploration is mostly discouraged through these mechanics. I personally can't stand this type of gameplay. However, at the top of Pokemon Tower, the complete opposite happens. You reach a clear destination, chat with Mr. Fuji, and he teleports you to his house. But when you spawn in his house, you're at the front door. He hasn't given you the Pokeflute yet. You need to think to go and talk to him again. Oh, and he's off screen where you spawn. So in order to progress with the game, you need to think, I need to go into this house, explore, and talk to everyone here. This is obviously not good game design, but these flaws really give these games so much personality and make them such a treasure trove of memories from when I was a kid. Back to the challenge. I teach Lapras Psychic, as it's great against the trainers on Cycling Road, and it will be my go-to move against Koga. I make my way through the Safari Zone and encounter a byproduct of how good Lapras is. My repels don't work on all the Safari Pokemon, because Lapras is kicking serious butt at such a low level. After grabbing the gold teeth in Surf, I head over to Koga's gym. I saved Body Slam specifically for Psychic types, and I get my chance to use it against the Jugglers. I'm sure it'll also come in handy against Sabrina in the near future. Okay, let's talk about Koga. I just finished my Sandshrew run, and in that video, I got it right. Venonat and Venomoth are both bug poison types. And that's all I got right. I also made a big whoopsies and said Rock Slide was better against his Pokemon than Earthquake, which in fact has been pointed out to me many times in the comments that this is not the case. They deal the same amount of damage. Since I first thought Venomoth was a Psychic Flying type, and I got this wrong many times, I'm now resigned to the fact that I'll be forever doomed to inaccurate statements about this fight. So it's really too bad that Lapras doesn't have any super effective moves against these Pokemon. Koga opens with Venonat, and my heart sinks when I don't one-hit it with Psychic. I don't have Stab on Psychic, and I'm underleveled, so this fight might actually turn out to be a challenge. The second Venonat comes out and uses Supersonic, but it fails. That allows me to knock it out again, avoiding Koga's status tactics. Okay, can I get to the Venomoth without taking a status condition? The third Venonat is up, and it goes for Sleep Powder. But it also fails. Incredible luck. It's time to take on his ace, the level 50 Venomoth. This Psychic Flying Behemoth is 14 levels higher than Lapras. It outspeeds and lands a decent Psychic. My Retaliatory Psychic does good damage as well. Alright, I think that I can do this. And then Venomoth lands a critical hit, taking me down to 30 hit points. My Psychic lowers its special, but at this point it's not looking good. Remember at the start of the fight when I avoided 3 consecutive status conditions? Well, I don't avoid the 4th. Venomoth uses Toxic, and in doing so, gives me the opening I need to finish the fight off. I got through this fight with a level 36 Lapras on my first attempt. Silph Co is up next. I remember as a kid how hard it was to find the card key in this place. I think the game designers did a really great job here hiding it. It's in a small corridor behind the teleport pad and the 2 rocket grunts. The top rocket grunt can't be moved out of the way because as soon as you go through the teleporter, he resets to his original position. So one of the solutions is to go to the bottom teleport pad on the floor, step into it, step back into it on the other side, and then exit the teleport pad in the correct direction to battle the rocket grunt. After you've defeated him, you can pick up the card key. Another solution is to simply head straight to the other side of the teleport pad on the other floor, and then come through it and exit in the correct direction once you reach this floor. Great job, Game Freak, for making an interesting puzzle with incredibly simple mechanics. Lapras is doing such a great job so far, I want to see if I can beat the game at a really low level. I'm not going to do any additional training before the rival fight. He opens with Sand Slash, which I can knock out with a single Ice Beam. Next is Ninetales, and unfortunately I don't have a water move, because I'm delaying learning Surf until I've used Body Slam to defeat Sabrina. This is my first fight against him, and I'm not sure what the best move selection against Ninetales is. So after this fight, I actually did some research. Fire doesn't resist ice in this generation, so in that case the best move selection is my Stab Ice Beam against Ninetales. Look how hard I'm trying. Maybe you should subscribe? After Ninetales goes down, I level up and Cloyster comes out. Thunderbolt knocks it out in 2 turns. However, it does confuse me before going down. I get outsped by Kadabra, who hits me with a Psybeam. Then I snap out a Confusion, nice, first turn. And then I knock it out with Body Slam. Jolteon is last. I now officially believe that this thing is the rival's strongest fully evolved Pokemon. I know everyone has been telling me this for ages, sorry it took me so long to realize it. I decide to level up just once to see if the increase that Lapras gets after the Ninetales might shave 1 turn off the fight, allowing me to get into the Jolteon fight with slightly more health. At level 38, I still do need 3 turns to knock Ninetales out. The rest of the fight proceeds as usual, and Jolteon comes out. And it gets frozen immediately. My rival can't hold me back anymore. The cold never bothered Lapras anyways. I'm so sorry. Giovanni is simple because of my typing and my diverse moveset. After he's taken care of, I head over to deal with Sabrina. She opens with Abra, who is level 50. Because of my level, it obviously outspeeds and lands a Flash immediately. Body Slam knocks it out. Kadabra is next. It lands a massive Psychic before Body Slam doesn't take it out? I guess I'm just not a high enough level. Luckily, I get Paralysis, which after a brief emulator brain fart, knocks Kadabra out. Alakazam receives an X-Defend turn 1, making my Body Slam deal around 1/4 damage. Thankfully, I did get Paralysis. Next turn, I miss, because of Abra's original Flash, and Alakazam sets up Reflect. Yikes, I'm just not really going to be able to deal any damage at all. I've got to hope for a critical hit now. Then I get stuck in an absolutely awful battle of Body Slam against Recover. I'm so glad I'm playing this on 4 times speed, because this would have been unbearable to sit through otherwise. I switch into Psychic, realizing that my PP is going to run out at some point. Perhaps I can lower his special enough to deal decent damage? However, Psychic does pathetic damage to Alakazam, and it immediately retaliates, knocking me out in a single hit. I begrudgingly level up 2 levels and come back at level 42. Abra is the same story. It outspeeds, lands Flash, and goes down to a Body Slam in 1 hit. Kadabra gets a turn 1 X-Defend, and I miss my Body Slam. It wastes its next turn using Recover at full HP, and then I land Body Slam, taking it into orange health. We both miss the next turn. After that waste of time, it hits me with Kinesis, lowering my accuracy again before it finally goes down. With 2 stages lower accuracy, I have absolutely no faith that Lapras can knock the Alakazam out, so I start button mashing. I miss a lot, and it hits 2 decent Psy Waves. I land a Body Slam, and it gets Paralysis. After I land my second Body Slam, I immediately stop button mashing and begin to pay attention. Is this actually possible? She uses an X-Defend, and I land another Body Slam, dealing a tiny amount of damage. It looks like I only need 2 more. My next Body Slam lands and gets a critical hit, bypassing all of Alakazam's stat changes, and I've done it. I teach Lapras Surf and head across the sea to Cinnabar Island. In Pokemon Mansion, I pick up Blizzard. This is going to be my go-to stab ice move. In Generation 1, it has 90% accuracy, and it grants a bit of a power increase, so that small drawback in accuracy is worth it. Additionally, I've got 3 other great moves that have perfect accuracy, outside of the small chance that every move has to miss in Generation 1. So if I was making a bet, I'd say that Blaine is going to be fairly easy. However, my recent experience with Cloyster has put doubts in my mind. Using a water ice type here isn't as easy as I initially expected it to be. He opens with Ninetales. It outspeeds, lands Confuse Ray, and I hit myself in confusion. Absolutely amazing first turn. In stark contrast, the next turn it uses Confuse Ray again. It fails, and I snap out of confusion, landing Surf, which knocks Ninetales out. Next, Rapidash uses Stomp, and it makes me flinch. It fails a Growl the next turn, and I knock it out with Surf. I think I see a trend emerging. Awful first turn, followed by a fantastic second turn. Arcanine lands a Fire Blast first turn, taking me down to 63 health. Ignore the text here. Fire moves deal neutral damage. I land Surf, and I take it into mid-orange health. Please, I need an amazing second turn again. It goes for Flamethrower, and I survive with 2 hit points. I guess it switching into Flamethrower was actually the amazing second turn that I was hoping for. With that, Blaine is out of the way, and I head to Viridian City to face Giovanni for the final time. As I was heading over to the gym, my brain started to seriously ask the question if I had defeated Erica yet. The Sandshrew run is still fresh in my mind. Also, I really hope everyone is enjoying weekly challenge releases from my channel. I'm extremely happy to be producing more content now. If you're enjoying these, like, subscribe, comment about my fossil choice, or my terrible move selection during fights. Okay, with my obligatory YouTube ramble out of the way, let's face Giovanni. Dugtrio has amazing speed. Because of this, it goes first and always lands an Earthquake. Persian also outspeeds, and unfortunately, it doesn't go down to a single Blizzard, which is my strongest stab move. Nidoqueen comes out, and it uses Double Kick. At this point, I just don't think that this can be done at this level. One of the main reasons I'm struggling here is the fact that I'm underleveled. However, I want to see what level I can beat this challenge at, so I'm gonna fly to Celadon and buy some vitamins first. In this case, Iron is the best bet, because I want to take less damage from Giovanni's attacks. I strongly doubt that I could raise my speed enough to outspeed Persian and Dugtrio. I reset to figure out exactly how many irons I could buy, and then I use them on Lapras and purchase the remaining number of calciums to improve my overall offensive potential. With these vitamin upgrades, Dugtrio is much the same as before. I try Surf out to see if it will knock it out, and it does. I should have been doing this all along, both for PP and for accuracy reasons. Persian is the same story. It does some damage to me with Fury Swipes, he wastes a turn with Guard Spec, and then I knock it out. At this point, I'm not sure I'm going to be doing any better than before. Nidoqueen comes out and lands a Thunder, which I survive. My Retaliatory Blizzard knocks it out. And then my lucky stars align, and Giovanni uses a Guard Spec on Nidoking. Alright, my Blizzard just needs to land. It does, and with that, I finished him off, as Rhydon won't be able to outspeed me. After the last rival fight in Silph, I realized how much of a problem Jolteon is going to be. But we've actually got to get to it first. Sandslash is an easy one-hit. Next is Execute. It's also a one-hit. Ninetales survives Surf with a sliver of health, gets a potion, and then goes down the next turn. Cloyster lives through Thunderbolt. Well, that's not a good sign for Lorelei. Against Kadabra, I no longer have a physical move, so I just have to brute special it down. Because of that, it takes me down to 80 hit points. Jolteon is next, and this is not looking promising. It outspeeds with Thunder, knocking me out immediately. Now, Thunder has 70% accuracy, so there's a world where I can get past this fight at this level. A combination of bad accuracy luck on Jolteon's side with the potential for good freeze luck on my side means this is quite possible. I'm going to try for this outcome so that I can move on to the Elite Four at this level. On the 5th fight, I get better luck and I arrive at Jolteon with green health. Thunder still knocks me out in a single hit. This confirms that the only way forward is with the luck that I described. The first 4 Pokemon in the fight actually don't matter. Yeah, feel bad about yourself, Pokemon. You don't matter. Regardless of what health I arrive at the Jolteon with, I need to get a sequence of events that prevent it from dealing damage to Lapras. In the 7th fight, Jolteon's first Thunder misses. Then I land a Blizzard for the first time ever. It doesn't do more than half damage. I was really hoping that this would be a 2-hit. Things just got a lot more complicated. Second turn, Jolteon switches into Thunder Wave. Alright, this might be possible with a critical hit or another Thunder Miss. I just need to actually land a Blizzard. I make it through the paralysis and use Blizzard, and it hits. Last turn, Jolteon uses Thunder, and it misses again. Lapras isn't paralyzed, and I land my final Blizzard, taking Jolteon down. In retrospect, I should have used a different move with 100% accuracy for my final move. Oh well, I guess I like living on the edge. It's time for the league. My moveset is incredibly diverse, and there are clear options for each Pokemon in the entire league, with the notable exceptions of Jolteon and Alakazam on the Champions team. I'm going to try this league starting at level 47 without any additional training. So it's your last chance now to make a prediction, if I can do this. I think I can. Lorelei opens with Dugong. Thunderbolt can knock it out in 2 turns, and because of my typing, her team usually uses useless moves against me. Exhibit A. Dugong really likes to use turn 1 rest, which gives me a free knockout with Thunderbolt. Exhibit B. Cloyster loves to use Supersonic. Sometimes it's a bit annoying, but generally it isn't too bad. Slowbro gets paralyzed immediately, so it doesn't get a chance to use a useless move. Jinx can deal damage to us using Double Slap and Thrash, but because of our defense stat and its low attack stat, there isn't anything to worry about here. Lapras vs Lapras, and I'm 8 levels lower. My first Thunderbolt lands, giving me information that this will likely be a 3-hit. Her Lapras retaliates with a Body Slam, dealing a small amount of damage to me. My second Thunderbolt confirms the 3-hit speculation, and then I get confused. Next turn, I hit myself, and her Lapras gets paralysis from Body Slam. I've only got 61 HP left. I could actually lose this. 2 turns pass where I'm paralyzed, and her Lapras uses Confuse Ray, with it failing each time. Okay, please let my next Thunderbolt hit. It does, and I've done it. Lorelei is no more. Bruno is a bit weird in this challenge. His fighting moves are super effective against Lapras, but his lack of special defense makes all of our moves incredibly potent. Hitmonlee misses its Mega Kick, and I can knock it out without incident. I was really worried about taking a high jump kick or a double kick here. Onix is a one-hit with Surf, leading to his ace, Machamp. Because it has the highest special on his team, I switch into Psychic to get the maximum damage possible. It goes down into orange health and then lands a Karate Chop. If only this was a fighting type move in Generation 1. The second turn, I knock it out with Psychic. Feels weird to narrate a Bruno fight for once. Agatha opens with Gengar, and immediately swaps it out for Golbat. Alright, I'd rather one-hit Golbat with Blizzard, but I guess I'll take this. Gengar comes back out, and here it's ideal if it paralyzes me, and uses Substitute the least number of times possible. Unfortunately, I don't get paralyzed, and it does use Substitute once, putting a small amount of pressure on my Psychic PP. Haunter uses Lick twice, and neither of them paralyze me. Well, I guess I'm vulnerable to Dream Eater against the final Gengar now. Arbok lands a Screech. This matters. Now Confuse Ray will be significantly scarier from the final Gengar. However, it wastes its first turn with Dream Eater while I'm awake. I switch into Blizzard as I'm almost out of PP for Psychic. It does good damage. Next turn, Gengar lands Confuse Ray, putting me into a tricky situation that I mentioned before. I hit myself, and it does not quite as much as I was expecting because of the Screech. Gengar uses Hypnosis, but it fails. I land my next Psychic, and Gengar survives with a sliver of health. However, I lower its special. Because of how low its health is, Agatha uses a Super Potion. A single Surf from Lapras takes it down. Onto the Dragon Master Lance. His Gyarados outspeeds Lapras and lands a Hyper Beam turn 1, taking me down to 123 health. Nice. 1, 2, 3. At level 51, Locky can't one-hit Gyarados with Thunderbolt, which is 4 times effective. Gyarados survives it with a sliver of health. It does need to recharge though, so next turn I knock it out with a second Thunderbolt. In Generation 1, you only get to skip the recharge step if you feint the opponent's Pokemon. Against the Dragonair, I outspeed and I can one-hit them with Blizzard. Aerodactyl comes out next, and due to its incredible speed, it always gets off one attack before I take it down with a single Blizzard. Because I can't avoid damage from Gyarados and Aerodactyl, without luck, I enter the Dragonite fight with orange health. At this level, there is only one way to defeat Lance. Dragonite must miss its Thunder. This isn't the most consistent, interesting, or convenient strategy, but it's the only way I can see myself entering the champion fight at level 51. It only takes 5 fights with Lance for the Dragonite to finally miss a Thunder. I arrive at the champion and he sends out Sandslash. This one is obviously not a problem for Lapras. However, Alakazam comes out next and I don't have a move that's particularly strong against it. Here, Blizzard is the best option. It's my highest power stab move and Alakazam doesn't resist it. In addition, it has a 10% chance to freeze the opponent's Pokemon. Even with the power of Blizzard on my side, it's going to take 3 turns to knock Alakazam out. The unfortunate thing here is that Alakazam loves to spam Recover. This drains Lapras' PP, and is going to make the Exeggutor fight much harder. After becoming confused, I switch into Surf in order to save PP on Blizzard. Lapras hits itself in confusion, allowing Alakazam to heal up. The next turn, Lapras hits itself again, and Alakazam finishes me off with a Psybeam. Psychic isn't going to be useful against any members of Butt's team. I'll replace it with Rest in order to give Lapras a bit more staying power during the fight. After playing a few more fights, I realized that I can get past Alakazam with a small amount of luck. Either Blizzard freezes, Alakazam uses terrible moves, or I get a critical hit. All 3 of these scenarios will do. Exeggutor is next, and unfortunately, I can't one-hit it. Because of this, it gets Leech Seed off. I got called out previously in the comments for calling it Leech Life and not Leech Seed. I genuinely might have been saying Leech Life for every single video that I've made to this point. Have I been saying it wrong this entire time? Leech Seed is actually a big problem in this fight, and you'll see why soon. I get lucky and critical hit the Exeggutor, so this is the best possible situation. After I rest up on Cloyster and take it out with 2 Thunderbolts, Ninetales comes out. I didn't expect this to be the challenging Pokemon. It outspeeds and locks me into a neutrally effective Fire Spin. If Leech Seed is on the field, then this damage is more than doubled every turn. The only way to get past this Ninetales is to wait until it misses a Fire Spin, so that then I can land a Surf. After using 3 rare candies, this scenario occurs in my 13th fight against Butt. I get some early luck against Alakazam by freezing it, and then I make it into the Ninetales fight with nearly full hit points. It misses its first Fire Spin, and I land a Surf, and Ninetales survives. I use 3 more rare candies and continue battling. At this level, I can fairly consistently make it back to Ninetales. However, here I'm really waiting for good luck against Fire Spin. In fight 17, it misses a Fire Spin and I land Thunderbolt. I was hoping for a Paralysis, which would let me get my second turn off right away. However, I don't get it and I'm back to the Shredder that is Fire Spin. Lucky for me, Ninetales misses its next Fire Spin and I knock it out. This was my first time getting to Jolteon. And then the obvious happens. It outspeeds and lands Thunder, knocking Lapras out. So how is this possible? Do I just have to go and level up more to defeat the final Pokemon in the league? If you couldn't tell from watching my other challenges, I'm actually incredibly stubborn. I use my final 3 rare candies and I continue to work on this fight at level 61. Lapras can now 2-shot Alakazam with Blizzard. In this fight, it uses Recover, and the game helps me out so that it's still a 2-hit by letting my second attack be a critical hit. I was hoping I could one-shot the Exeggutor, but this isn't the case. I get lucky with another critical hit against Cloyster, and then Ninetales comes out and still outspeeds me. After all, it has 100 base speed, so there's really no hope of me outspeeding. It traps me in Fire Spin. This move is so annoying. It's almost as bad as Sand Attack. At least this move actually deals damage to you, so it just feels like the fight is hopeless and the opponent is an evil sadist toying with you. Sand Attack is more like, hey, just sit there, you're not allowed to play Pokemon games anymore. I hate that move so much. After being taken down to red health by Ninetales, it misses, and Lapras one-shots Ninetales without a critical hit. Alright, this fight got significantly more consistent at level 61. Jolteon is next. Turn 1, it goes for Thunder Wave. It was at this moment that my heart began to go pitter-patter, like it did when I met my girlfriend. Girlfriend reference? Check. If I actually land Blizzard, I could either get a freeze or a critical hit. I land Blizzard, and it freezes. I actually yelled a little bit when this happened, and then Leech Seed takes some of my health. No, not like this. I need to get rest off next turn. If Paralysis activates and Lapras fails to move, this fight is over, even with Jolteon being frozen. I get the rest, and with that, all I have to do is wait a few turns before taking the Jolteon down. This was a really exhilarating way to end this challenge. Thanks so much for watching. If you're enjoying my content, like the video and subscribe. If you're looking to help the channel out a little bit more, leave a comment or share this video with a friend. After all, we need to get more people on the Dome Fossil hype train. Dome Fossil from here on out. I apologize, Lord Helix, but your time is over. Finally, if you want to go the extra mile, consider becoming a Patreon. In the end, I just appreciate that we're all here together sharing our love for Pokemon. You're incredible, and I'll see you in my next video.